Hey guys, it's Jackster, and welcome to a video. I know it's been a long time, but we're here, and today we're going Insane People Facebook because I'm bored. A 7,000 to 6,000-year-old burial of a young woman aged around 20 when she died, and her newborn baby from Vedbak, Denmark. By her head were 200 red deer teeth, and the child is cradled in the wing of a swan with a flint knife at its hip. It's thought the pair died during childbirth. 7,000 years? Even Denmark didn't know it was Denmark. The lies we get from science is amazing. How did they took their pictures 6,000 years ago? Science and lies. Maybe it's possible if you mentioned 60 or 70 years ago. But 6,000, 7,000 years? Not possible, man. It's fake and so-called story. Okay. As you all know, it is impossible to take a picture modern day and reimagine what it would have looked like ages ago through art. My daughter attends this school, probably. Yesterday she told me something disturbing. My daughter has told me that when the school asks the students to be quiet, the teacher says, "Quiet coyotes." And the kids raise their hand and touch the middle two fingers to the thumb, and the first and pinky fingers stick out. You know, like everyone knows Quiet Coyote. Or Silent Snake. And touch where was I? This is a sign of devil horns. I asked the principal if she would have stopped this immediately. There was no reason for this. She said she is unaware of this happening. I thought the mascot was effing patriots, not coyotes. I know that's probably not the F word, but I think it's funny. I have advised my daughter she is no longer allowed to make the sign of the devil. She will not be participating. Back in the day, we used to put our pointer finger to our lips as a sign of hush. Worked back then, should still work today. Has anyone else's children stated that they have been doing this at school? Parents, please be aware and let me know so I can bring it up to the school board if necessary. The devil horns. What's next? The school teaching Satanism? The local pizza place is closing down due to poor management. Why are they closing? It's in the article. Because the Democrats are ruining America to make it simple. If Trump was still president, I guarantee they wouldn't be closing. Yep. Trump is 76 years old. On March 20th, Barron Trump will be 17. This is 1776. There are no coincidences. Oh wow, math. I I don't even know what this is referring to, but okay. Girls feel like if they say no, then they might hurt you, and in this case it was true. She shared the images of her injuries to raise awareness. It depends on the tone and how she said it. Some of them deserve a punch in the face to be reminded that they have to respect people. Your parents must be so proud of you. Don't punch people because they say no. Rick Wiles thinks that meatless foods can alter human DNA in order to cause human beings to no longer technically be technically classified as humans, a plot that would make it impossible for them to be saved by Christ. Christian TV host, vegetarian hamburgers are a Luciferian plot to change human DNA. Treason charges, where are they? Liberals are the enemy of democracy and freedom, and their credibility is mud. Police need to make charges now. Treason is serious. They should arrest Trudeau ASAP. The whole Liberal Party is going. Civil war if no charges. Trudeau works for the WEF in China. I don't know what WEF is. Taxpayers' money funding WEF. If that's not treason, tell me what it is. Liberals are the enemy of democracy and the people of Canada. Charges are civil war. Words matter. Every morning before going to school and work, and every night before bed, my sons and I speak love, joy, peace, and goodness. Faithfulness and self-control over the love rice. We speak bad things over the hate rice, like you're naughty or you're bad. We started this experiment because I really thought I could prove it wrong. It's the skeptic in me, but boy was I wrong. This is and will continue to be the greatest reminder for me that the words we say out loud have a huge role to play into how we make ourselves and others around us feel. Today, I am reminded what we say to ourselves, our children, our neighbors, our enemies matters. Love you, Cody. In this one is just rice, and in this one there's moldy rice. Yeah, science. Trump ate 2 hamburgers for lunch. 2 is also the number of times he has been impeached. Coincidence? That's pretty good. Okay, today is 3/20. Baron Trump's birthday. He will be 17, and his father, President Donald J. Trump, will be 76. Equals 1776. The date 3/20. 3/20 in gematria is John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Coincidence? I still don't understand. Are they saying that's the date that of JFK's passing? Like, I do not understand. Okay. My money, I have to take a bank loan before I go to Fresh Market. If you have to check out yourself, then there should be a discount. If you have more than 3 bags worth of items, then checkout is crap. Unfortunately, nobody wants to work anymore because our federal government pays money to those who don't work, just like they pay their staff. Example, what has our brilliant VP done since in office, or our sweet baby Buddha judge, or whatever he calls himself? That's the dilemma we find ourselves in. Free money is now controlled by our emperor. Time for drastic changes. Ooh, no one wants to work anymore. I wonder why. Don't ask why children need to see drag queens. Ask yourself why drag queens want an audience of children. That made no sense, but okay. The comment section from a video where a woman lists the things she dislikes about America. In other countries, her arrogance and entitlement wouldn't be tolerated and would be publicly whooped. Send that V-word to China/North Korea. Let her know what is the best country in the world. Lived in Japan for 10 years. Everyone told me how great America is. This girl is so dumb, like so many modern chick who think they are smart and or interesting. Where else in the world could you even order Chinese food to your door at 4 a.m.? Just saying. Well, Canada. Probably England. She needs a very well-timed, very hard smack right across her face. Another dumb blonde. This girl went on her first trip overseas. Now she thinks she is worldly, smarter than Americans. I've been to 40 countries. Believe me, everyone wants to come here. Maybe not stay forever, but the US is the number 1 on the bucket list. Okay, then. The Universe 25 experiment is one of the most terrifying experiments in history of science, which, through the behavior of a colony of mice, is an attempt by scientists to explain human society. The idea of Universe 25 came from the American scientist John Calhoun, who created an ideal world in which hundreds of mice would live and reproduce. More specifically, Calhoun built the so-called Paradise of Mice, a specially designed space where rodents had abundance of food and water, as well as large living space. In the beginning, he placed 4 pairs of mice that in a short time began to reproduce, resulting in their population growing rapidly. However, after 315 days, the reproduction began to decrease significantly. When the number of rodents reached 600, a hierarchy was formed between them, and then the so-called wretches appeared. The larger rodents began to attack the group, with the result that many males began to collapse psychologically. As a result, the females did not protect themselves and in turn became aggressive towards their young. As time went on, females showed more and more aggressive behavior, isolation elements, and lack of reproductive mood. There was a low birth rate and, at the same time, an increase in mortality in younger rodents. Then a new class of male rodents appeared, the so-called beautiful mice. Okay? Is that it? Does it not explain further? That's kind of dumb. I don't get the point. My daughter 3 pointed at one of my boobs this one afternoon and said, "Those are for milk." I said, "They used to be when she was a baby, but not anymore." And she said, "No, they are again." And then 2 days later, I found out I was pregnant. Silly toddler, milk is stolen from another species so mommy can be lazy. What? Okay. 30 years ago, we sat in school classrooms quietly. No ADHD anywhere. Kids ate peanuts and had zero food allergies. Almost no kids were obese. Autism simply didn't exist in children. Any ideas? Yeah, I do actually. People definitely had ADHD. Kids were allergic to things. Almost no kids were obese. That's because of actually a lot of factors. And autism simply didn't exist. It did, but you just called that kid the weird kid and he got bullied for no reason. How about that? Look at how intelligent I am, guys. I support the only party that ever loved enslaving black people so much that they started a horrific civil war that killed 1 million Americans. I was raised really poorly. Sorry that laws apply to politicians as well as normal people, Your Highness. What? I don't understand this one. I don't know a lot about American history, so that's on me. It's it's just as easy to buy a scientist as it is to buy a politician. Hmm. Yeah. Sure. I'm not even gonna bother. Trump 2024. I once thought Beijing Joe was just a worthless piece of Now I'm sure of it. Not only is he the worst president of history, but the worst leader in the world. Let's finish the job, America. I can name a couple worse leaders. I'm not going to because I don't want it to die, but it's open for interpretation. Just because I'm blind. The last election, 80% of ages 18 to 25 voted Democrat, the generation that know nothing besides social media. Next election, it's estimated this will rise by 3 to 6%. This age group minds are still so easy to mold. That's exactly what the mainstream media is doing to them. That's why all the crazy people that think differently, are Republicans and casted out of society. Casted out of society. BFFR. I don't know what that means. I'm not very smart. Typical Republican making themselves a victim. I'm sorry your mind is so close to learning new things. I'm not a victim. I'm a multimillionaire who believes he can do anything. My goal is to try and free society from the grasp they will have over our minds. It will be hard, so that's why I need to gain as much wealth as possible before I begin. Yeah, like Kanye, I'm a Jew, by the way. The same kind of Jew he was talking about, and I agree with him on a lot when he says of what he says. People like Alex Jones, turns out he was right about most of his conspiracies. A conspiracy is now what the left mainstream media calls ideas that will hurt their narrative if they get out to the public, so they shut those ideas down. I feel like none of that made sense. Also, there's a big difference between crazy and insane or mentally ill. Like a mad/crazy scientist is different from an insane trans BLM activist. Yeah, no, really. A crazy scientist creates a monster. An insane trans BLM activist, as you say, is living their life and supporting others living their life. Yeah, that's pretty different, if I do say so myself. If you want some good news, Prophet Kim Clement prophecy in 2007 that we would have two presidents, one resident in the White House at the same time. He also said DT would why'd I say denounce? Would announce his arrest and turn himself in. This is good. So far, DT has announced this to us too. By doing this, he is bringing back the people who walked away. It says this is no longer political. It's now good versus evil. Kim C. also said President Trump would serve 2 terms and that he would have no shame at the end of his presidential term. We need to be rejoicing and praising God for Donald Trump and all that he's doing for us while serving our Lord. That's right, I'm fasting and praying for Trump and the White House's military today. God always wins. I'm excited that we are seeing God's mercy. He could have left us to be devoured by the enemy, but he is saving us. I swear, Trump supporters are like a cult. It is horrifying. How can you be so obsessed with a president? Like, this is not normal. Like, no one should be this into politics. I don't accept science from people who claim a man can be a woman. And I don't accept science from people who don't think that. Falling in love hits different when you know they're a paid actor sent by the CIA to distract you from dedicating your life to dismantling the government. Yeah, totally. That is 100% reasonable. That seems like it belongs on Oddly Specific, though. All I'm reading is greedy people that put themselves first. People that choose themselves over a family should be criticized and not held to a good standard. Family brings out the best in people. If your relationship hinges on focusing between two people and a family, it would and focusing between two people and family would break that you are in a failed relationship. I don't know what that's against exactly. Lightly shat pants. Local former gym owner on energy exchange. I had to develop a tough-looking exterior to keep most of the demons of this world away from me most of my life. I wear sunglasses around people because I know energy flows through eye contact, and I only reserve direct eye contact for people of similar vibration. I had to look mean and unapproachable to survive comfortably in this realm. If you ever see me out and around, don't be afraid to say hi, even though my shields are always up. My closest friends laugh at what I'm really like when the shields are down. And yes, I'm practicing taking off the armor, but it simply takes time, and given the way the world is, I'm simply working as designed. Never judge a book by its cover. If you're armored as well, you're also working as designed. Maybe we can smile at each other one day as we walk by, thinking deeply of my life event this year so people can relax and connect again. Maybe I will see you there, and maybe I will have my glasses off so we can have an equal exchange of energy. That sounds really creepy. This guy... my eyes hurt. I was focusing so hard. I need better eyes. Many have asked about CIC DJT's recent truths about being arrested. He's been dropping a lot of codes in his truths lately, with the misspelled words, codes, that paint a clear picture when you know what laws and orders in place to this operation. The most recent is about the former president being arrested. He's not a former president according to federal and military and laws and orders. Everything CIC Trump has said has come to fruition. Everything. A buddy of mine asked me this week, just how many Americans do you think can or would understand code? As to my reply, it doesn't really matter if they can or can't, will or won't. There's always guardians of freedom who know more than others and take action whether they care or appreciate it or not. I don't know that much about what happened with Donald Trump being arrested. Was he even arrested? I don't know. Donald Trump is just as important to the United States of America in March of 2023 as Martin Luther King Jr. was in March of 1968. Here's the difference. One of them was fighting for equal rights, and one of them is just some guy with some corn, corn husk. No, it's not the husk. The husk is the green part. You know the stringy bits? Yeah, his hair looks like that. Okay. I'm curious. If humanity are real, why push me away? The ideas I have are an attempt to better the lives of what appear to be scared people technically stranded on a world headed for disaster. I have a really difficult time accepting what people deceive to be real. Is it going to take me dragging everybody through court? Because that is exactly what I intend to do. Medical malpractice, legal malpractice, civil malpractice, I require respect and paid for. The days of abusing me as the scapegoat black sheep are long gone, and I am no longer concerned. I no longer concern myself with worldly actions because I technically cannot do anything right. By the way, 52 years brutally alone. How long can you go without human interaction? Chatbots need not reply. You need not worry about saving me. I'm good with the way my life is. Thanks anyway. I'm currently not looking to save mortals. My current objective is to ensure my home world is safe, out of harm's way. I have a ton of ways to create tons of jobs, as well as two favorable industries. Humanoids are too risky to personally save. If my life gets hold of my reins and things work out for me, we as everything are saved, not just one greedy mortal. If, however, yeah, that makes sense. However, if things fall through the floorboards, all bets are off. My cards as well. I am removed from the table. My inventions as well as peace are revoked and humans can go off on their own. I have had it with humans. Greedy, mean, ignorant, selfish, entitled. I am not holding anything captive. That UFO is being made so you can flake off world for a change. Go be tough in space. Earth cannot withstand another blow. I don't think this is making any sense, and it's terribly written. After the abuse, I am still being tarnished for, rather than dragging humans through like throwing, through another war, I am settling the score. Humans are my biggest investment. No other species wanted anything, literally nothing to do with people. Look at the facts. When was the last time E.T. paid humanity a visit and played? Had their vessels looked over? No one, right? That is because humans present far more risk than myself. I always get my way, and what I want, it just takes a few, and I'm not here to be trampled on by humans. Alright. As you can understand from the fragment you've quoted, they live for themselves. For them, not for another. The idea is, as I said before, then when you have a child, you stop living mainly for yourself. You become second, and that puts the ego in check. As you saw, he uses we a lot. That's something both narcs and codependents have in common. Boundary issues. They see the couple as are linked organically. Uh, I forgot how to read for a second. They see the couple are organically linked as almost being one, two bodies, one soul. And something else, we don't have to raise a child, which the world does not need right now. In the West, there is a poisoning decadent decadent culture that says the Earth is overpopulated. Humans are bad for the planet. ECT. This is poisoning culture. This poisoning culture is an anti-life one. Yeah, well, it's true. Children are bad for the environment. And just because other people don't want children doesn't mean you can't have your own. Like, go ahead, have a kid. I do not care whatsoever. If God asked me to kill my child, I would, because I trust him. If God came down from the heavens and talked to me, I would not listen to what he said because I don't care. But, that's kind of messed up. If they can come for Trump, they will come for you. This type of stuff only occurs in third world authoritarian nations. Dear Facebook, it's not your job to fact-check our posts. You're a platform, not a publisher. Signed, everyone on Facebook. Really? I never said that. First of all, that was someone else. Rabies doesn't exist as a virus. Secondly, I would wash a bite with soap and water. Correct. Thirdly, rabies doesn't exist, nor have a 99% kill rate. Stop it. Yes, it does. It will kill you. Get your rabies vaccine. And did they give you the rabies vaccine prior or after? I think that one's after. Yeah, it's after you've been bitten. If you've been bitten by a wild animal, go to the hospital and get your rabies vaccine because it will help you. It'll help you not die. And that's always good. How many feds/fed assets are in place to turn protest against the political arrest of President Trump into violence? I don't know. "900 people went into witness protection. It states JFK Sr. is dead, but he's alive. The cable found out that he was alive, so they seen his death for the second time. You can only break the cable from inside. They all knew what the cable did to our innocent children in the world. We salute you for your courage." Oh, it says, every celebrity who has ever died is actually alive in witness protection. Sure. Some mental gymnastics explaining how Donald Trump's arrest is a good thing. Storm Y. Daniels. Horseface. The horse is a majestic animal that embodies the spiritual power of independence, freedom, nobleness, endurance, confidence, triumph, heroism, and competition. It is a symbol. Its symbol is associated with strength, courage, and freedom. Just thinking out loud. What if she's working for him? Gematria. Stormy Daniels, 174. God is in control. 174. Storm is coming. 174. You'll find out. 174. Trust the plan. 174. Ghislaine Maxwell. 174. Luke Skywalker. 174. I don't get it. Man can't look at a woman he loves for hours after fun time. Assumes all men are like this for some reason. Cuddles before and after. If only you understand how your man sees you after fun time, you will not talk about cuddles. Even if you love her, it takes hours to see the beauty in her again after. Straight facts here, right here, homie. I feel like an animal after. Can't look at my girl the same way. Gotta legit not look at her for at least a couple hours. Thought this was just a me kind of thing. The feeling is mutual. I need hours to look at her properly again. What the hell? The same guy who compared not wanting kids to being in a suicide cult. In a more normal and sane world, if someone who is 35 plus would tell you that he or she does not want children for comfort and hedonistic reasons, you will realize that person has some psychological issues that left untreated could ruin their lives. As you see, there is that narcissistic disorder untreated ruins that couple's life. They won't have a child because they do not treat their disorder, not even through self-education. P.S. You must understand that it is not that person that says no to having children, but the disorder that says no to having children. It's the disorder talking. The person is ill and can be treated. This is bull. Yeah. I'm gonna skip that one. This just in. Not having kids is the same as being... Okay. You've said, arguably, having a child is the most narcissistic thing you can do. That is pathological judgment. You realize that your style of thinking is similar to the suicide cults. Those say no to life and embrace nihilism and death. Why even bother screaming on a roller coaster? What more can you get out of the experience by screaming? You're just wasting energy instead of enjoying the ride. And it's annoying to all the other people on the roller coaster. I'm not for the prohibition of screaming on roller coasters, but I just think people who scream are rude, just like people who talk during a movie. For those who took the vax and would like to counteract what it does, take nattokinase. It dissolves the SBK protein. Pair it with a tea made from matcha and moringa, and you'll get cellular repair as well. Those who aren't Nazis, why? Simple, because I believe that everyone should be able to live their life. That seems like not the effective of a mating strategy. If it works for you, that's great, but honestly, I do better the worse of a human I act. It's an evil world we live in, and the devil always wants to dance. Dog owners are sickos. You guys have... Especially women with male dogs. You choose useless beast mutts over having kids. Dog worship in the West is a mental illness. All dog owners must be punished. Whew. While reading the Foulmouth Enterprise, I see an article from Dr. D. Wall, speaking in Woods Hole, a primatologist, saying we humans are primates. I don't recall any of my cousins or anyone in my family way back being an ape or a bonobo. I am a human being born to my parents, who also have no apes in the family. God chose me to be a female baby. That's what I'll remain. Plus, I never had the urge to swing from trees. The world-renowned so-called highly intelligent people have just amazed me. Out in left field. Go study monkeys, but leave us humans out of it. Okay, here's the thing. We're not apes, but we have a common ancestor with apes. Because at some point... Okay, I didn't think I would have to explain this, but evolution works like this. Slowly, over time, okay, so here's a story. In England, they used to have two kinds of moths. They would have the white moths and the dark gray moths. So the white moths, you could hide on the birch trees, and the gray moths would get eaten first because they were the most visible. But when they started using coal factories and there was a lot of smoke being produced, everything turned gray. So the white moths would be eaten first, whereas the gray moths could hide in the smoke. And so there would be way more gray moths than white moths because the white moths didn't live long enough to reproduce as much. It's similar with humans, okay? Whatever good traits the common ancestor had, whatever good traits it had, those ones were more likely to reproduce. Because, say, claws. Some of them had dull claws, but some of them had really sharp ones. Well, the ones with sharp ones can climb the trees, so to eat. So those ones would be more likely to reproduce because they have that good thing that helps them eat, and then they can live. Science. It's not very good, but that's science. Even while signing the extension of Medicare for postpartum coverage today, which I called a week before he changed the horses midstream, Tate Reeves said again that he is against extending Medicare for working people. I understand the struggles of working people. He doesn't. Working people don't need Medicaid. Yeah, people working 8 jobs just to afford an apartment don't need Medicaid at all. Okay. I've already partially read this. My parents spanked me as a child. As a result, I now suffer from a psychological condition known as respect for others. When one of my kids said they were trans, I'd beat them up so bad that they'd be in the hospital for a week. Maybe they'd have some respect for Western values after that. And if you did that, then I would call the cops on you because that is very illegal. Just let your kid be a kid. Women are only as faithful as their options. Women who have rejected you and try to come back have tried to do better. They didn't succeed and have settled for you. A woman can never look up to a man who is her equal. The only way for a relationship to truly work is if both partners are respected and regarded as equals. Otherwise, it's prone to conflict, intimidation, and unhappiness. Okay, yeah, both should be equals. That is definitely game theory. Elon Musk and Trump are playing roles in exquisite script. Twitter purchase, Trump arrest, banks, elections equals scripted. Twitter files, spaces equals reverse engineering and exposing the CIA as a foreign domestic terrorist organization since inception. You're watching a movie. Welcome to the unraveling. If this happens, Trump will be re-elected in a landslide victory. Our nation is now the third world and dying. The American dream is dead. The radical left anarchists have stolen our presidential election, and with it the heart of our country. American patriots are being arrested and held in captivity like animals, while criminals and leftist thugs are allowed to roam the streets, killing and burning with no retribution. Millions are flooding through our open borders, many from prisons and mental institutions. Crime and inflation are destroying our very way of life. Page 2. Now legal leaks from a corrupt and highly political Manhattan district attorney's office, which has allowed new records to be set in a violent crime and whose leader is funded by George Soros, indicate that with no crime being able to be proven and based on an old and fully debunked by numerous other prospectors fairy tale, the faraway and leading Republican candidate and former president of the United States of America will be arrested on Tuesday of next week. Protest, take our nation back. Literally a free lunch versus working. Perpetual childhood versus responsibility. Of course, the free lunch will always be more immediately popular with the people who never ask who pays for it. Left. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz after signing a law that guarantees free breakfast and lunch to all public school students. Right. Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders after signing a law that makes child labor easier. Yeah. Um, okay. Jurassic Park star Sam Neill reveals he has a ferocious stage 3 cancer. Ferocious cancers are known COVID's vax side effects, and most actors have to be vaccinated. Tragic. That is really unfortunate, but that is not a COVID vaccine side effect. 75-year-old people never got cancer before the 2020s. Yeah, that's so true. Okay. Never press your sense of humor onto your kids. My oldest two have found a new joke they think is the funniest thing in the world, where my blonde, blue-eyed daughter interrupts a random rant her mixed-race stepsister is on with, "Shut up, N-word." I can't wait until they decide to drop that one in public for a laugh, and I get to see just how fast that mob forms and where they pull the torches and pitchforks from once that hard R drops. What? How do you reconcile being against abortion and being against feeding children? Haha, nailed it. The lack of rational logic here is stunning. A government that allows you to kill a baby up to birth, California, that's not true. Then should take over to feed, clothe, and educate. Personal responsibility doesn't exist in a poor kid's world. Mine are fed, we took responsibility. If you're forced to have a child, then I feel like, then, yeah, government kind of owes you. We don't want Mexicans, we don't want Muslims, we don't want gays, and we absolutely do not want black colored people in America. Out. My Twitter account got suspended for 12 hours after giving my opinion. If this doesn't change, I will be contacting my lawyer. That one's so funny. That's such a funny thing to say because Twitter isn't American, so you don't have the right to say whatever you want, despite what you think. Anyways, I'm gonna end it right here before I lose my mind. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.